While a segment of psychology is associated with growth and development, a part of it also concerns tricks and techniques to help you get your way. A lot of these become survival skills while growing up. In an unhealthy environment, you would be surprised to know that most of these are much more common than you can imagine. The word trick is often used negatively, but in many situations, we do end up using dark psychology tricks that can get us out of a fix. Dark manipulation tricks involve a pinch of persuasion to get your job done. Check out these 10 tricks that work in real life. Before we chop it up though, y'all please do us a favor. Smack the dog shit out of that like and subscribe button for us. My friends, it's quick, easy, and helps us out more than you'll ever know. Number 1. Thankfulness. Have you ever encountered someone in your life who expresses gratitude for the most ordinary gestures? Maybe a coworker who appreciates even the smallest favors. Their constant attitude of gratitude becomes a defining characteristic, so much so that you almost come to expect it from them. And interestingly, this dynamic isn't limited to one-sided expressions of gratitude. It works just as effectively when the roles are reversed, when you find yourself in a position to reciprocate their gestures of appreciation. You eagerly seize the opportunity to express your own gratitude. This reciprocal exchange of thanks strengthens the bond between individuals, fostering a sense of connection and goodwill. Number 2. Silence. In the realm of psychology, harnessing the potency of silence can wield remarkable results. It's not just a mere trick, it's a strategic approach employed by professionals across various fields to elicit profound insights and foster deeper connections with their clients or counterparts. Yet it's precisely this discomfort that serves as a catalyst for introspection and self-disclosure. In the absence of verbal cues, the individual's mind begins to churn, searching for ways to fill the void. In this vulnerable state, they may find themselves compelled to delve into their thoughts and emotions. Silence becomes a powerful tool for prompting reflection, encouraging individuals to confront their innermost truths and confrontations. It's in these moments of shared silence that profound connections are forged. Number 3. Give unreasonable examples. There are occasions when individuals may feel hesitant or reluctant to divulge specific details, whether it's due to privacy concerns, fear of judgment, or simply a desire to maintain a level of ambiguity. However, therein lies the art of persuasion. By strategically employing the tactic of presenting an exaggerated or unreasonable example, you can effectively coax them into revealing at least some semblance of an answer. It's a subtle yet powerful technique that taps into the human psyche, capitalizing on our innate tendency to react to extremes. Consider, for instance, the scenario of negotiating a purchase. By initially quoting an exorbitant price or proposing an outrageous offer, you effectively set the stage for a negotiation dance. In response to your exaggerated proposition, the individual is compelled to provide a counteroffer, anchoring their response to a more realistic and reasonable figure. This phenomenon, known as the anchoring effect, demonstrates how our perceptions and decisions can be influenced by the initial information presented to us. By strategically leveraging this cognitive bias, you can skillfully guide the conversation and extract valuable insights or concessions. Number 4. Be the good student. It's evident that the perception of a student's character plays a significant role in shaping the level of trust bestowed upon them. The label of being a good student carries with it a certain aura of reliability and credibility, fostering a sense of trustworthiness among teachers, peers, and other authority figures. Conversely, those labeled as bad or naughty students often find themselves viewed through a lens of skepticism and suspicion, their actions scrutinized with a discerning eye. However, what's truly fascinating is how this perception of trustworthiness can influence the interpretation of a student's behavior and actions. Even when a good student makes a mistake, offers an excuse, or fabricates a falsehood, there exists a tendency among educators and peers to extend the benefit of the doubt, clinging to the belief in their inherent trustworthiness. This phenomenon highlights the power of preconceived notions and stereotypes in shaping our judgments and evaluations. It's not merely about the objective assessment of behavior, rather, it's about the lens through which that behavior is interpreted. The good student is afforded a degree of leniency and understanding. Their missteps often brushed aside or rationalized within the context of their perceived character. In contrast, the bad student may find themselves subject to harsher scrutiny and condemnation, their actions viewed through a lens of confirmation bias. Number 5, priming. Many ad agencies leverage a subtle yet powerful psychological trick to sway consumer perceptions and behaviors. This tactic revolves around the concept of repetition and exposure. The more information is presented to the subject, the more likely they are to internalize and believe that information. It's a phenomenon rooted in the fundamental principles of cognitive psychology, wherein repeated exposure to stimuli leads to greater familiarity and acceptance. Think about it. How many times have you seen a commercial or advertisement for a product only to find yourself gradually warming up to the idea of purchasing it? Whether it's through catchy jingles, captivating visuals, or compelling narratives, advertisers strategically bombard us with their messaging, embedding their brand or product into our subconscious minds. This constant barrage of stimuli serves to create a sense of familiarity and credibility, fostering a predisposition towards the advertised product or idea. Moreover, this phenomenon extends beyond the realm of consumer goods to encompass broader societal perceptions and beliefs. Take, for example, the perception of airplane crashes through relentless coverage in the media, be it on the web, television, or social media platforms. We are inundated with images and stories of aviation accidents. As a result, our perception of the frequency and likelihood of airplane crashes becomes skewed, leading us to believe that they occur more frequently than they actually do. In essence, ad agencies capitalize on this psychological quirk to manipulate consumer behavior and shape societal attitudes. Number 6. Non-reactivity. Navigating workplace dynamics can often feel like traversing a minefield, especially when faced with the distressing reality of workplace bullying. Have you ever found yourself on the receiving end of such toxic behavior? Have you ever contemplated remaining silent in the face of such adversity? While it may seem counterintuitive, staying silent can sometimes serve as a strategic response to workplace bullying. You see, bullies thrive on eliciting reactions from their targets. It's like fuel for their malicious intentions. By refusing to engage or react to their provocations, you effectively strip them of their power and deprive them of the satisfaction they seek. It's a subtle yet potent form of resistance, one that undermines the bully's attempts to assert dominance and control. Moreover, remaining silent can disrupt the cycle of reinforcement that perpetuates their behavior. You see, bullies feed off the reactions they elicit from their victims. It validates their sense of superiority and emboldens them to continue their abusive conduct. By denying them the reaction they crave, you disrupt this cycle, sending a clear message that their behavior will not be tolerated. It's a form of psychological jujitsu, using their own tactics against them to neutralize their influence. Number 7. Mirroring. Mirror neurons scattered throughout the brain play a crucial role in our ability to understand and empathize with others, but their influence extends beyond mere empathy. They also have the remarkable capacity to influence our own behavior and perceptions. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the realm of law enforcement, where police personnel often leverage the power of mirror neurons during interrogations. Picture this. The seasoned interrogator sits across from the suspect, carefully observing their every move. With a subtle shift in posture, tone, and expression, the interrogator begins to mirror the suspect's demeanor, effectively establishing a subconscious rapport. It's a subtle yet potent tactic, designed to create a sense of discomfort and unease in the suspect. As the interrogation progresses, the mirroring intensifies, further amplifying the psychological pressure on the suspect. This strategic manipulation of mirror neurons serves to heighten the suspect's sense of vulnerability and isolation, making them more susceptible to divulging information or confessing to wrongdoing. But the power of mirror neurons doesn't stop there. They also have the capacity to influence our own perceptions and behavior in response to mirroring cues. In the high-stakes environment of an interrogation room, even the most seasoned interrogator may find themselves inadvertently mirroring the suspect's behavior, blurring the line between interrogator and interrogated. It's a testament to the profound impact of mirror neurons on our social interactions and cognitive processes. However, it's important to recognize the ethical implications of such tactics and the potential for abuse. Number 8. Sunk cost effect. The phenomenon described here, known as the sunk cost fallacy, is indeed one of the most pervasive cognitive biases that influence our decision-making processes. It's a fascinating yet insidious trap that we often unwittingly fall into, driven by our innate aversion to loss and our tendency to seek validation for past investments. Picture this scenario. You've poured countless hours, resources, and energy into a project or endeavor, only to find yourself faced with diminishing returns or outright failure. Despite mounting evidence suggesting that it may be time to cut your losses and move on, you find yourself unable to let go. Why? Because of the sunk cost fallacy. You see, our brains are wired to place greater weight on past investments, viewing them as sunk costs that must be recouped at all costs. As a result, we irrationally continue to pour additional resources into a failing venture, hoping against hope that it will eventually pay off. It's a classic case of throwing good money after bad, driven by our fear of admitting defeat and our desire to salvage something from our initial investment. But the reality is that clinging to sunk costs only serves to compound our losses and prolong our suffering. In the world of economics, this phenomenon is known as throwing good money after bad, and it's a surefire recipe for disaster. Number 9. Start small. The psychological phenomenon referred to as the foot-in-the-door technique is a fascinating aspect of human behavior that sheds light on the intricacies of persuasion and influence. At its core, this technique involves starting with a small request or action that the other person is likely to agree to, thereby laying the groundwork for subsequent larger requests. It's like planting the seed of compliance and nurturing it over time until it blossoms into the desired outcome. Picture this scenario. You approach a friend with a seemingly innocuous request, such as borrowing a pen or asking for their opinion on a minor matter. They readily comply, perhaps out of a sense of politeness or a desire to be helpful. With each successive request, you gradually escalate the level of commitment, moving closer to your ultimate goal. It's a gradual process of building rapport and trust, one small step at a time. What's truly fascinating about the foot-in-the-door technique is its ability to bypass the natural resistance to persuasion that we all possess. By starting with a request that is easy to agree to, you create a sense of consistency and obligation in the other person's mind. They become invested in the interaction, motivated by a desire to maintain a positive self-image and uphold their commitment to the initial request. As a result, they are more likely to acquiesce to subsequent requests, even if they are larger or more demanding in nature. But the effectiveness of the foot-in-the-door technique doesn't end there. Research has shown that once a person has complied with a series of small requests, they are more susceptible to larger requests that are consistent with their previous behavior. We'd love to hear what you think down in the comments. As always, my friends, we thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.